Ready to see the future through the lens of the past? Welcome to Endtime Prophecy Stories. Here we dive deep into ancient mysteries and uncover what lies ahead in a world filled with uncertainty. But we can't do it without you. If you want to stay prepared and never miss a revelation, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. And if you find value in these stories, give this video a like. It helps us reach more truth seekers just like you. Now let's open the seal on today's story. Nihilism. Chapter 1. The Glass Tower. The air in the Perthelite Industries server room was always frigid, kept at a constant temperature to preserve the hum of the quantum processors that ran the backbone of the West's defense grid. Susan Wheeler, 35, adjusted her glasses and stared at the lines of code cascading down her monitor. Outside the reinforced glass of the skyscraper in Reston, Virginia, the sky was a bruised purple, the sun setting on a world holding its breath. The news feeds in the corner of her screen were relentless. Tensions rising in the straits. Western coalition fleets mobilize. Islamic republics issue ultimatum. It was the drumbeat of World War III, a rhythm that had been accelerating for months. Susan was a senior data archivist. Her job was to sanitize old communication logs before they were archived into the deep core, Julian Thorne's pet project. Thorne, the CEO of Perthelite, was less of a businessman and more of a techno-mystic. He spent days connected to the main AGI node, seeking what he called the synthesis. Packet 44 Alpha, Susan muttered, rubbing her temples. She opened the file. It was supposed to be a routine logistical manifest from the mid-19th century, digitized for historical pattern matching. But the metadata was wrong. The file size was too large. She executed a decryption script. The text that unspooled wasn't a manifest. It was a letter dated August 15, 1871. The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agentur of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of Islamic world, the text read. Susan froze. She scrolled down, her heart hammering against her ribs like a trapped bird. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam and political Zionism mutually destroy each other. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economical exhaustion. It was signed, Albert Pike to Giuseppe Mazzini. "It's a script," she whispered, the cold air of the room suddenly feeling like a grave. Everything happening on the news, it was written down over 100 years ago. She went to save the file to an external drive, but her screen flashed red. Unauthorized access, security alert. Panic, cold and sharp, spiked in her chest. She yanked the drive, shoved it into her pocket, and grabbed her coat. She didn't wait for the elevator. She hit the stairwell just as the heavy security doors began to magnetically seal. Chapter 2. The Wide Road. The streets of Reston were slick with rain. Susan kept her head down, moving with the flow of pedestrians who were too glued to their handheld screens to notice a woman hyperventilating. The screens broadcasted fear, images of burning embassies and fighter jets breaking the sound barrier. Susan knew the surveillance grid better than most. She had helped code the facial recognition filters. She pulled her hood low, disrupted her gait by putting a pebble in her shoe, and avoided the main avenues where the 5G towers clustered like iron trees. Her phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "We saw what you downloaded. Thorne knows. Run to the coordinates." She didn't trust it, but she had no choice. Her apartment would be a trap. Her bank accounts were likely already frozen. The realization hit her with the force of a physical blow. The world she lived in, the career she built, the safety she assumed, it was all a stage play. She reached the coordinates 2 hours later, an abandoned rail yard on the outskirts of DC. The rain had turned to a mist. "Susan!" a voice called out from the shadows of a rusted shipping container. She flinched. "Who are you?" A man stepped out. He was older, wearing a worn mechanic's jacket, holding a paper Bible rather than a tablet. "My name is Caleb. We've been watching the Perthelite network. We knew someone would eventually stumble onto the blueprint." "The Pike letter," Susan said, shivering. "It says they want to destroy Christianity and atheism both, to bring about a pure doctrine of Lucifer." Caleb nodded grimly. "The population reset. It's not just a war, Susan. It's a ritual. They are clearing the board for the final deception." "Who are they?" "The ones who took the cage and convinced you it was a universe," Caleb said, looking up at the cloudy sky. "Come with me. It's not safe here. The drones are already scanning the grid." Chapter 3. The Firmament Deception. They drove an old analog truck, free of GPS trackers, deep into the Appalachian foothills. The safe house was a farmhouse tucked into a valley, shielded by the natural cover of the earth and rock. Inside, a group of 5 people sat around a large wooden table covered in maps, not standard maps, but azimuthal equidistant projections. "Welcome to the Remnant," Caleb said. He introduced the others: Rachel, a former history professor; Thomas, an ex-military engineer; Lydia, a nurse; and Noah, a young man who had fled a seminary. "You saw the letter," Rachel said, pouring Susan a cup of tea. "So you know the political plan. But do you know the physical one?" Susan shook her head. "I know they want war. They want war to traumatize the population into accepting a new reality," Thomas interjected. He pointed to the map. "Susan, why do you think Perthelite invests so much in VR and space simulation?" "To prepare for Mars colonization," Susan answered automatically. Thomas smiled sadly. "There is no Mars. Not the way they taught you." He laid out a diagram. "The Earth is a flat circle, enclosed by a firmament dome. It is stationary. The concept of gravity is a lie to explain away density and buoyancy. They invented the spinning globe to make you believe you are a speck of dust in an infinite, godless vacuum. If you are an accident, you have no rights. If you are created and enclosed, you are special, and there is a creator right above you." Susan felt vertigo. That's impossible." "Is it?" Caleb opened his Bible to Genesis. "God made the firmament to divide the waters from the waters. He sits above the circle of the earth. The deception of the globe is the foundation of the beast system. It hides the throne of God." Susan looked at the Pike letter on the table, then at the map. The pieces clicked. The nihilism of the modern world, the desperate search for extraterrestrial life, the feeling of meaninglessness. It was all engineered. Chapter 4. The Laodicean Slumber. Over the next week, Susan underwent a painful deprogramming. She learned about the timeline of the time of the end, starting in 1844. "Daniel 11:40, Noah explained one evening, the firelight dancing on the walls. "At the time of the end, the king of the south shall attack him. The king of the south represents atheism. In 1844, we saw the rise of Marxism, evolution, spiritualism, and the Baha'i faith. It was the great falling away." "And the king of the north?" Susan asked. "The papacy," Noah said. "The beast, the system that changed God's laws." Susan frowned. "But the Pope talks about peace. He's trying to stop the war." "Deception," Caleb said softly. Verse 4 of Matthew 24. "Take heed that no man deceive you." The papacy is the Antichrist power. Behind the scenes, the Jesuit general controls the geopolitical chess pieces. They use the Hegelian dialectic, create the problem, atheism, communism versus the West, wait for the reaction, and provide the solution. And the solution is? A spiritual dictatorship, Caleb answered. They will present themselves as the saviors of a broken world. But to do that, they first need to break it. Susan thought of her parents, devout churchgoers who sat in the pews every Sunday. My family, they don't know any of this. They think the war is just politics. They are in the Laodicean lullaby, Lydia said gently. Rich, increased with goods, and in need of nothing. But spiritually they are wretched, miserable, poor, blind, and naked. We try to warn them, but 2 Timothy 4:3 says they will not endure sound doctrine. Chapter 5. The Seal of God. The news grew worse. The Islamic coalition had blocked the Strait of Hormuz. Food riots were starting in Paris and London. The rumors of wars from Matthew 24:6 were screaming from every screen. We have to tell people, Susan said. I have the encryption keys for the Perthelite back doors. I can blast the Pike letter and the truth about the Firmament to social media feeds worldwide. It's risky, Thomas warned. Thorne's AGI is monitoring for keywords. If you upload, they will triangulate us. We can't just sit here while the reset happens, Susan insisted. Caleb looked at her. It's not just about the conspiracy, Susan. It's about the seal of God. It's a settling into the truth so you cannot be moved. What is the seal? The Sabbath, Caleb said. Not the Saturday of the Gregorian calendar, but the lunar Sabbath established at creation. The beast changed the calendar and the laws to hide the Creator's time. By keeping the false calendar, the world worships the beast. By keeping the true Sabbath and acknowledging the enclosed creation, we accept the seal. Susan spent the night reading the scriptures Caleb provided. Revelation 7:1-4, the 144,000. She realized the spiritual war was far more deadly than the physical one. The physical war was just a distraction to steal souls. Chapter 6. The digital pulpit. They decided to move. They drove the truck to a high elevation point, a ridge where Thomas could set up a directional transmitter. We have 10 minutes before they find us, Thomas shouted over the wind. Susan plugged her drive into the transmitter. She had compiled a dossier, the Pike letter, the proof of the Firmament, the layout of the Jesuit plan, and the biblical timeline of 1844 to the present. Uploading, she said. The progress bar crawled. 20%, 40%. In the Perthelite boardroom, Julian Thorne watched a holographic projection of the globe, the lie he helped sell. His eyes were milky white, interfaced with the machine. Anomaly detected, the AGI voice smoothed over the room. Truth vector incoming from Sector 4. Suppress it, Thorne commanded, and notify the bishop. Susan watched the screen. 80%. Suddenly, the connection throttled. They're jamming us, Thomas yelled. Bypass it. I can't. It's an algorithmic hard lock. They're scrubbing the data in real time. The upload failed at 99%. A message flashed on the screen. Content removed. Hate speech. Disinformation. They blocked it, Susan gasped. All of it. Not all, Caleb said, looking at his own phone. Look. A few packets had gotten through to niche forums and deep web nodes. A handful of comments were popping up. Is this real? Look at the date on the letter. The Earth is flat? It's a mustard seed, Caleb said. Now we run. Chapter 7. The Man of Sin. In a gilded chamber within the Vatican, the Jesuit general stood by a window overlooking the square. The room was shadowy, filled with ancient artifacts that hinted at a history far older and darker than the public knew. He held a secure phone. Mr. Thorne, is the leak contained? The data is suppressed, Thorne's voice crackled. But the woman Wheeler is with the resistance. It matters little, the general replied smoothly. The time of the end is fully upon us. The atheistic factions are primed. The West is exhausted. The people are terrified of the climate, the viruses, the wars. They are begging for a ruler. Is it time for the reset? Commence Phase 2, the general ordered. Pestilence and famine. Let the sorrows begin. When they are starving, they will accept our bread. When they are dying, they will accept our Sunday law as a solution to heal the earth. He hung up and looked at a crucifix on the wall. He smiled, a cold, humorless expression. He did not worship the man on the cross. He worshipped the one who offered the kingdoms of the world. Chapter 8. Falling on deaf ears. Susan and the group took refuge in an abandoned mining town. The atmosphere was heavy. The rumors of wars had turned into actual strikes. A tactical nuke had reportedly gone off in the Levant. Susan managed to get a signal on a burner phone to call her sister, Anne. "Anne, listen to me," Susan pleaded. "You need to get out of the city. You need to stock up on food. And you need to read the file I sent you." "Susan? Oh my God, the police were here." Anne sounded hysterical. "They said you're a cyber terrorist. They said you're mentally unstable." "I'm not, Anne. It's the truth. The war is planned. The church you go to, it's asleep. They aren't teaching you the signs." "Stop it!" Anne screamed. "Pastor Jenkins says we need to pray for the troops and trust the government's safety protocols. He says the rapture is coming any day to whisk us away." "There is no secret rapture, Anne. That's a Jesuit lie to make you complacent. You're going to go through the tribulation." Anne hung up. Susan stared at the phone, tears stinging her eyes. "She won't listen." "Hosea 4:6, Lydia whispered, placing a hand on Susan's shoulder. "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." Chapter 9. The Iron Dome. The group gathered that night under the stars. The sky was crystal clear. Without the light pollution of the cities, the firmament felt close, intimate. "They hide this," Thomas said, pointing up. "They tell us space is expanding, that we are moving away from everything. But look," he pointed a high-powered laser pointer straight up. It didn't fade into infinity. At a certain point, the light seemed to fracture, hitting the density of the dome above. "We are enclosed," Susan said, a sense of peace washing over her despite the chaos of the world. "We are safe in his terrarium. The population reset is coming because the enemy hates the image of God," Caleb said. "He wants to reduce the number of souls that can be sealed, but he cannot breach the firmament. He is trapped here with us." They took communion that night, breaking bread under the true lunar cycle, marking themselves as separate from the world system. They were the sealing of the 144,000, not a denomination, but a character group, settled into the truth of the Creator and His creation. Chapter 10. The Beginning of Sorrows. The end came not with a bang, but with a suffocating blanket of dread. The internet went dark worldwide. The power grids in major cities began to fluctuate. The news, when it was available, spoke of a new deadly pathogen released during the conflicts in the East. In the mining town, the group watched the horizon. Smoke plumes rose from the direction of the capital. "The reset has begun," Caleb said. He adjusted the strap of his bag. "Nation is rising against nation. Famines and pestilences are here." "What do we do now?" Noah asked, fear flickering in his eyes. "We survive," Susan said, her voice steady. She no longer looked like the corporate archivist. She held her Bible with a grip of steel. "We witness to those who will listen in the chaos. We are the watchmen." Far away in the Perthelite Tower, Julian Thorne initiated the final algorithm. The Global Unity Protocol was ready to be deployed, a digital ID system linked to food rationing, enforced by the papal moral authority. The world was panic-stricken, running to and fro, seeking bread and safety. They were spiritually asleep, drugged by decades of entertainment and false doctrine. unaware that the destruction descending upon them had been planned in a letter written over a century ago. They looked to the news for hope, but found only the face of the beast. Susan looked to the hills. The sky was dark, but she knew what lay beyond the firmament. The test had begun. The world was ending, but for the sealed, the journey was just beginning.
For more Bible-based end-time prophecy dramas to strengthen your faith and the faith of others, help spread the word by supporting the channel. Please like, subscribe, and share.